Show. Reigning champ, Tim Keck.
Timothy Keck. You're listening to
Come at me show.
Come at me show.
basketball shorts.
Come at me show.
Did we say the show was good?
Hey, everybody. How are we doing today? It's your boy, Tim Keck. Same time, same place as always with another consistent episode, weekly episode, the next recurring installment of Come At Me Show. But Tim, you were gone last week when we needed you most. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry I abandoned you in your time of need, your Tuesday morning fix, or later in the week after the Tuesday, after the episode's posted on the Tuesday. Whenever you come for Big Daddy Tim, my job is to satisfy you. And I did not do that last week. And for that, I am eternally sorry. I'm upset. I'm bummed. I'm disappointed as well. I had technological failures, the likes of which have not been seen since that space shuttle blew up. I wanted to say Apollo 13. I don't know which shuttle it was. I feel like I should. From Countdown County, I know about NASA, and I just referenced the deaths of, some brave soldiers to make a point that my computer exploded. It did not actually explode. It collapsed in on itself like a dying star. It was a nightmare. None of this is interesting, but my mic broke. And I was like, fine, I'll get a new mic. Got a new mic. I think it sounds great. Let me know what you think. And then I was like, cool. The people want to see me, because I have a lot of fans who don't like podcasts. They're like, Tim, but if we could see your beautiful face on a YouTube maybe, or a Vimeo, then I would be able to listen to you talk for an hour. But I don't think they're my target demographic. I don't think that the kind of people who only like podcasts if they can watch is a big enough sector of podcast fans. I feel like the whole point of a podcast is that you don't have to look at me. You can just hang out, vibe, listen while you're driving, listen while you're doing something else, tuning me out as I, keep you company during the workday. Maybe you're working from home, throw me on the old Google speakers, the old Alexa, get them to play a little Come At Me Show as I guide you through your day until that stupid Skype call that could have been an email, but your boss wants to set it up anyway. Oh my God. Leave me alone, people. Work people. That's what I think all the time. Leave me alone so I can get some real work done. We're getting off topic. My mic broke, and I was like, these people are going to want to see me on video at some point. And I did it. I've recorded a few videos of this thing, and I said, okay, cool, this will be simple. I'm just going to edit them on my computer. My computer couldn't handle it. It collapsed in on itself like a mine that has been deprived of all the rich ore that kept it afloat. And I said, you know what? Screw this. New computer, new mic, and we're back at it. But it took me a week to get my shit together. And for that, I apologize. Maybe we'll do another episode. I won't do another episode this week, but I'm going to do another bonus episode soon. And you know what? After this, I'll be more consistent. Unless, knock on wood, have another horrible disaster. But what can you say? I'm going to try, guys. I'm going to do the best I can. As usual, I'm just going to do the best I can. My hair is a problem. I cut it off myself, and it was good when it was shorter. And now it is starting to get not as good anymore. Now it's grown out enough that you can tell it's all the same length, and that's a little bit of a problem. Maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I'll cut it again. But I was kind of like, I'll just cut it this once so I never have to deal with it again. But it turns out you have to keep cutting your hair. It's like brushing your teeth. Like you're like, okay, well, once a week, that'll be good enough. But really, no. They want you brushing at least once a day, maybe twice if you're, got a lot going on. Floss if you can. I don't even know where you buy floss. Maybe at other, I don't know, where a floss store. Where do you get floss? Are you guys flossing? Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Not the dance. I remember the dance was flossing. Anyway, I got a computer. I had to go to the Apple store to pick it up. They scanned me with the temperature gun that shoots COVID in your head and tells you if you got it. I don't know. I was shocked. I was nervous. I hadn't done the gun before. Apparently, the gun's all over the place. People do the temperature gun constantly. It's the only way you can get into bars or restaurants or whatever some places. They did it for me. I was standing in the sun and the guy's in the shade, and I was like, well, okay, well, just so you know, if this goes off, it's probably because I'm in the sun. You know, I'm warm. I just walked here from the train. So if I'm running a little hot, also Tim runs a little hot in general, right? So a 90, 99, 100 degree temperature for Tim is pretty normal. I feel terrible all the time. And no, I passed the temperature check with flying colors. I did a great job at that. Absolutely terrific. And then I was able to pick up my thing and everything's going good. I also went out after that. The first time I've really gone out amidst the COVID. I don't know if it was a good idea. Everybody's doing it. In New York, people are doing it. People are going out. You go out to a bar. Went out to a bar that I used to go to all the time in Brooklyn. We were in the backyard. It was super nice. And we were very far away from everybody except our little distanced groups, and got absolutely trashed because it's the first time. It was like the first time I not ever drank, but I don't drink by myself, really. I'm not a guy who just sits with a glass of scotch. I'm the kind of guy who, pounds beer and shot specials at dive bars with his friends and loved ones. I never mastered drinking alone, so I don't really do it. But then I went out. It was like the first time in months going out for a little day drinking with some pals I hadn't seen in a minute. And it was rad, man. They just had all these blueberry vodka lemonades, which is a rough recipe. Everyone's drinking the vodka lemonades. I got sloshed, rickety wrecked. And for the first time in months, and it was great, and it was super fun. And let's see. I was like, okay, I walked to this bar. It's a close enough bar that I can walk, which I was excited about. And I don't want to take the train. The train scares me. The one day a week I go into work, I have to ride it. I don't like it. I avoid the train. I called the Lyft. The first Lyft I've used all quarantine. I haven't been lifting anywhere. Why risk it? But I had my mask on. I got in the car, and immediately, the guy is talking, and he's on the phone with somebody, and he looks at me like, help. And I was like, what? And he's just like, hell. And I guess he didn't speak English very well. And so he hands me this phone, and there's a guy on the end, and he's like, oh, this is my phone. It was left in the car. I got to tell you, it was very overwhelming. I was just, I was very drunk, got in this Lyft as a sweet treat to myself. Tim, take it easy. Time to relax, unwind with a nice little car ride, a personal chauffeur home from the bar. This is you time. You just kick back, think sweet nothings before you hydrate and go to sleep. But immediately I get in and I'm faced with a problem, a problem that apparently only I can solve. And the dude on the phone is like, hey, man, this is my phone. And I was like, hey, man, I just got in this Lyft. What's going on? And he's like, that's my phone. I need it back. Where are you? I said, I said, where are you? Are you in Manhattan? And I said, no, we're in Bushwick. And then there's like a pause, and he's like, okay, I'm going to Bushwick. I'm going to Bushwick. And I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not going to hold on to your phone for you. Just text your address to the phone, and then this guy will know where to take it. And he's like, great, cool. So I guess he did that. I didn't really follow up, but I handed the phone back to the guy, and he's like, okay, what's going on? And he was just kind of looking at me, and I was like, all right. He doesn't speak English. I've been doing my Duolingo Spanish like every day for like 200 days. I'm like, I've got my biblioteca. I've got my Boligrafo. I'm ready to escribir in como y leche y manzanas. I don't know what it is about apples and milk, but apparently Spanish people fucking can't have milk without some apples, man. If you have apples without milk, they will riot. They hate it. It's crazy. It's like Americans with hot dogs and apple pie. You know how Americans, I bet the Duolingo app Do they just use apples and milk for every culture, or is that like specific to? I've only done the Spanish one. Is it specific to Spanish, or like is the American Duolingo like, let's go, let's eat some, I don't know, hamburgers and hot dogs, and it's just all about it's all about like, where's the bathroom, eat hot dog. On the Duolingo English. So I was like, okay, this is your time to shine, Tim. This is why you've been training for 200 days into Duolingo Spanish. Let's go. And I asked the guy, what language are you speaking? And he goes, Mandarin Chinese. It's like, oh, fuck. Okay, I'm not going to be able to help you at all with this. But I, pulled out the Google Translate app, which is phenomenal. And I got it done, man. And then I got out of the car. And once I got out of the car, I left the problem behind me. I don't know. Who knows how it turned out? Who cares? They're fine. It'll be fine. Dude's living in Manhattan. He can buy a new phone. Worst case. And I tipped that guy well, because, what can you do? You got to tip. I think it's just a given. If you tip at least 20%. I don't know how much you tip for a lift, but it's like preset in there, and I just do it, and it's great. Guys, the Miami Heat are in the finals. My Miami Heat, my sweet little boys in the Miami Heat are doing great. I'm so proud of them. They crushed it the other night. Absolutely crushed it. They were so good. Embarrassed Boston on their way to destroy LeBron James and seek vengeance on him for abandoning the city that made him who he is. It's great. I'm so excited. I actually got to watch the Miami Heat game as a virtual fan. Yes. They've been reaching out to, celebrities and just, the biggest names they can get. Also, they're letting just you watch for free because they need the bodies. And I was in the latter group, and I got to virtual. If you haven't been watching the NBA, they don't have any fans in the arena. They're doing like a closed gym thing in the bubble in Orlando. And instead of fans, like bleachers full of fans, they have all these like screens and they have like a big screen set up. And instead of like where the fans would be sitting, they just have all these different like little virtual seats with people's faces on them, like a Zoom conference call or something like that. Even though this was Microsoft Teams, they were not using Zoom. We all got a Microsoft Teams link. I feel like I should say that. I'm sure they paid a lot of money in order to be the official Zoom substitute for the NBA. And then they put everybody's Microsoft Teams names, like, or your head, like up on the thing so the players can see you. You can't see the players except through your TV, but it's cool, man. It was fun. It was a fun thing to do. I thought I'd be on TV. I was not. We were like behind the basket, and they should just every game do a sweeping like panorama shot of just everyone, all the virtual fans, that we can see ourselves on TV, because that's the whole reason we're doing it, And I didn't get to see it, but I got it. So you log in, they send you a link. I logged in, and you're in your own little section, right? They had each little you go to a game. They have different sections in the stands. They had different sections online for this Microsoft Teams stream. And so I like saw the people in my section. I saw where I was sitting in the section, and it mirrored. They did like a dual screen thing, and they had the game streaming on one side, and then your section and all your people on the left side. And before the game, we had this Miami Heat dancer who was like the boss of our section. She was like the authority. She was the one in charge of our section. And she was very nice, very friendly. She made everybody put on black shirts because it was like a blackout. That was their theme, was like blacking out the game. That's their playoff thing, is if you're going to a Heat game, you're wearing all black. It's cool. It looks good. She bullied a bunch of people into it. She bullied some little kid who was wearing a red shirt into wearing a black shirt. There are people in like blue jerseys because the Heat have that blue thing going on. She's like, nah, take it off. Black t-shirt, baby. And then they did it. And then she's like, oh yeah, by the way, when they're shooting free throws, everyone go to their kitchen right now and grab a pot and a pan so you can bang them together and make noise while like the other team is shooting, which is like, sure, I'm buying into this experience. I am all in on this. I'm doing what it takes. I go to the kitchen, I get a pot, I get a pan. we're good to go. I'm ready to do this. And then she's like trying to get us to talk and being like, oh, so who's he? Where's everybody from? And it's a nightmare. It's 27 people in an online meeting. Everyone's done it at this point. It's been everybody's talking over each other. You can't understand anything. So people just stop talking. And then like a little while later, she's like, why isn't anybody talking? It's like, because nobody can because we're all competing with each other. We all really just want to watch the game. I don't know if any of us really want to talk. It's like we're going to form lifelong friendships in the Zoom chat. We just wanted to watch the game. We wanted to get on TV, and see what's going on. So then they're playing the game, whatever. They're doing all these things. They do all these heat things. I've actually never been to a home game in Miami, but they do, every like home team has like the little bits they do. So like, for example, Jimmy Butler scores a basket and then they cut to like a little promo thing of him. They call it Jimmy Buckets. And he's like doing like curls with like with buckets in each hand. And they'll be like, Jimmy Butler. And then they have the voice of the Miami Heat there. The in-ring commentator is there. And so you're watching the TV broadcast, like the regular TNT broadcast, but they're overlaying it with the voice of the Miami Heat guy, like the home crowd guy, and with all the like videos and things that they play in the arena. So yeah, so they did the Jimmy Butler guy, they did the Goran Dragic one. It's like a giant dragon comes out. They did these little bits in between. They played little halftime things. My favorite one was the Golden Oldies, which was like a dance troupe made of like old women, which I didn't realize was a real thing. I thought it was just that one movie with that one old actress in it. And it was like all the old actresses coming together and like I thought that was the kind of like made up for TV thing, but it's real. There's old people who dance at the halftime show and they're great and they're fabulous and they're the Golden Oldies. Would highly recommend. And I thought for sure they'd be able to hear us during the game, like during cheering. They want our crowd noise and they had us muted the whole time. We were not able to say anything. I didn't really need to, but we weren't yelling at the game. They couldn't. That's like fake fan noise. It's not us. It's not us doing it. I know because. And throughout the whole thing, they were like, make some noise. Like they were talking to us, not the broadcast. They were talking to all the people in the Microsoft Teams thing going, make some noise. And everyone's making noise, but we're all muted. So like we're just all alone in our respective houses, just yelling to ourselves in an empty, in like a room. And they're like, be in a quiet place and all this stuff. And it's like, this doesn't matter. Why am I by myself making some noise for the game? Oh, it was silly. It was silly and fun. Oh, and then the other team started shooting free throws and they're like, grab your pots and pans. And I'm banging pots and pans. And I realized, I'm muted. They can't hear the pots. They're just seeing me bang pots and pans. But now it's like, whatever, not the middle of the night, but it's whatever. And I'm just a lunatic in my bedroom by myself, banging pots and pans together because I want to intimidate the Boston Celtics, which, whatever, I'm not going to do anyway. So anyway, it was great. It was super fun. The Heat won. Great game. Good times. I'm glad I did that experience. I don't know if I would do it or recommend it to anyone, but I'm glad I did. Hey, man, I went to the Eastern Conference Finals in one sense. So it worked out pretty good. Let's see. This week's topic is caffeine. Oh man, I feel like I have more off-topic stuff to say, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what else. I feel like I should be getting to caffeine. Nah, you know what? Screw it. Fantasy football is trash. It's not trash. I love fantasy. I like I'm okay with fantasy football. I'm fine with fantasy football. I'm fine with it. It's not my favorite anymore. It's a complete gamble. During every draft, everyone was like, I don't know, are they even going to play? Are they even going to play this year? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's a complete crapshoot. I drafted Saquon Barkley like number 2 in one of my leagues. Immediately he's out for the season with like an ACL injury. It's crazy. Football is a terrible sport. These guys just have career-ending injuries every day in this sport. Every week you're like, well, who's injured? Who's going to play? You don't think about that with basketball. Someone has like a bad injury, they don't play. It's a huge deal because there's only like 100 guys in the NBA, but football, and they're also, there's like 30 guys out. There's 100 guys out every week. I forgot every team's like 52 teams. You're telling me like these teams, what percentage of the team is out with an injury every week? Like 5%, 10% of each football team is injured every week. I don't know. They didn't do training camps. Of course, all these running backs. Oh man, it's funny. These running backs, like the first people you want to draft. That's what they say is you want to, first you draft a running back first. But these running backs get lit up and run into the ground and just wrecked every game. They take the biggest beating of anyone in a non-combat sport. And they're the ones that were like, yep, I'm hanging my whole season on him. Why? I'm not doing that again. I'm not drafting a running back number 1 ever again. He's going to get hurt. They get hurt. I'm drafting a wide receiver or I'm drafting a quarterback. Why not draft a quarterback? There was that 1 year where every quarterback got hurt, and the rest of the time it's like, cool, man. All these guys are good. Patrick Mahomes, I drafted not first in one league, but I drafted Patrick Mahomes at quarterback in one of my leagues, and I know he's going to score the most points. He's going to do the best, and if I have any success this season, it's just because Patrick Mahomes is putting up 10 more points than every other quarterback in the league, and that's it. That's all I can hang my hat on. And he's not going to get hurt. He's going to be fine. They're going to try and protect him because they don't care about these running backs. They draft kids and on a rookie deal, they run the crap out of them for 4 years. And then when the kid's like, oh yeah, it's my turn to get paid, right? I've been like a star for this team. It's time for me to get a new contract. They're like, nah, you're done. And they're like, no, I'm not. And then they go to another team, sign like a slightly bigger deal. And then they break instantly. And now they're just like a broke former athlete. And it's sad, but quarterbacks, they protect them, man. They protect them. They keep them safe. I keep setting off Siri with this stuff. I don't know what's going on. My computer will just freeze for a second and start recording I'm already recording what I'm saying, but then it'll be like, oh, here's your message right now. And it's like, I don't have a, anyway, caffeine. That's our topic this week. Caffeine. I don't know what that was. I love and hate caffeine. I hate caffeine, but I love everything it does. The background, my experience with caffeine is I'm a migraine getter. I get a migraine occasionally, and migraines are terrible headaches, debilitating headaches. Headaches go away, Siri. And I get like queasy and sick and all this stuff, and it's a nightmare, and they're terrible. And there's no real way to stop migraines, I guess, except for they tell everybody to like find your triggers. Find what triggers your migraine. For some people, it's a glass of wine. For some people, it's a lack of sleep. For some people, it's caffeine. For a lot of people, for a majority of people. And I found for myself that caffeine was a migraine trigger for me. So I stopped. I quit. I gave up caffeine, and it kills me to this day. I drink enough decaf coffee to drown a horse, but it still has less caffeine than like a cup of coffee. So, I'm still getting my fix. But I thought before, guys, I thought it was such a joke drinking I was always like, because I loved coffee, man. Coffee every day. I got so into drinking. I love drinking coffee. And as I was like, decaf. Ugh. If I had to drink decaf, I'd just die. I'm done. Just roll into a ditch and lay there till the world takes its victory over. I don't know what I hate it. I didn't understand it, but now I get, because I don't drink caffeine anymore. I will occasionally I'll break fast for this caffeine just for fun. But the cool thing about decaf coffee is I can not drink it one day and I don't feel terribly sick. That's the thing. It's the addiction. Caffeine is for sure. It's a drug, man. It's like sugar. It's like all this stuff. It just gets you addicted. And caffeine, if you drink multiple cups of coffee a day, try one day just not having your coffee and see what happens. For me, migraine city. You'll probably get a caffeine headache. You go through caffeine withdrawal. Try and stop. It's impossible. It sucks so bad. It's really hard. And now I'm like I've got my 2-year chip. I've got. Oh. I saw, what is it? Dax Shepard. He's like a famous podcaster. It's funny that I worry about Dak Shepard. I really do, because it's hard out here in this podcast game. And now that so many celebrities are doing podcasts, it's hard to stand out. Like, where's Dak's place in the podcast game? I mean, Dak Shepard is only famous as he's not really famous. He was famous for a podcaster, and now he's not. Now it's like, oh, Alec Baldwin has a podcast. Oh, Rob Lowe has a podcast. I don't know how Dak Shepard can compete with Rob Lowe, or what all these, I don't know, Will Arnett's podcast, or Michelle Obama. I don't know. I've talked about that before. But anyway, Dak Shepard, he relapsed on pills. That was his thing. And then he posted this very touching like photo. And then he wrote this thing about it. And it was about how he relapsed because he got into a bike accident, and he'd been sober for years. And he started taking, medications that he wasn't in pain. And then, he kind of didn't need to take it anymore and kept taking it. And he's like, now I started over. I'm no longer 20 years sober. Now I'm 7 days sober. And I just thought that was, a beautiful thing. But and I'm exactly like that, but with caffeine. It is just as much of a struggle. Caffeine, coffee, and hard pills, hard drugs are exactly the same. There is no difference between someone who drinks a coffee every day and a heroin addict. You heard it here first. It's addicting, man. And I drink the decaf, and it's like a cigarette. It's like a smoker with a patch, with a nicotine patch. Decaf coffee is my nicotine patch, and I need the ritual. I mean, I have, friends who quit smoking and then they start chewing gum or like eating lollipops or just something. They need the oral fixation of it. And I need the ritual of like something that's not water in the morning when I start my day off. I'm a prisoner of it. One of my friends threw me, a few of my friends threw me a surprise party one time, and I was so sick with a migraine that I couldn't go to my own surprise party. Or I went for 15 minutes and I was like, I have to go. And I came home and was so sick. I felt like I was dying. And it was one of the nicest things anyone's ever done for me. And also one of the most frustrating days of my life because this debilitating disease I have. I don't know. But I wanted coffee. I wanted to drink coffee as a kid. That was a thing. I remember being like, adults drink coffee. This is what grown-ups do. They drink coffee. One of my, like an uncle or something, it's not an uncle, but like one of my parents' friends who like was an uncle, was treated as an uncle, stayed with us one time. I remember like seeing him in the morning being like, oh yeah, Uncle Jack, what's going on? What's good? That's what he said it. At like 8 years old, I'm like, oh yeah, what's up, Uncle Jack? What's good, baby? That's how I talked. That's how I talked when I was a kid. What's good, Uncle Jack? And he's like, oh, Uncle Jack's not up yet. And I was like, what? And he's like, no, you're not. Uncle Jack isn't here until he's had his coffee. And I was just like, whoa. What does that mean? You mean you're an adult and you get to be like, oh, don't talk to me till I've had my coffee? There's something so magical about that. Oh yeah, Uncle Jack's not here. Sorry, Tim's not here yet. I haven't had my coffee yet. Oh, it's a thing to talk about at work. Guys, I can't. Oh, Mondays, am I right? And then I'm not me till I have my coffee. That's the dream. That's what you want as a kid growing up. To be a guy who needs his coffee. I need my cup of coffee every day. Then glasses. Growing up as a kid, I was like, I really want glasses. My dad had glasses. Maybe that was part of it. The blue Power Ranger had glasses. I felt like having glasses was like, oh, you're a grown up now. You're good. I wanted glasses as a kid. That's an insane thing to want. Looking back, I'm like, you should have enjoyed your sighted years as long as you could have, Tim. Should have ridden those out. Should have, hung upside down from the monkey bars way more than you did. I don't know what either. My glasses as an adult, like since college, my glasses have never fallen off before. My glasses have never fallen off me as a grown up. As a kid, I feel like constantly falling off the face. How is that possible? Was I just throwing my body around? Was I tumbling all over the place as a kid? How were my glasses falling off as much as they did growing up? It's crazy. So anyway, I lived the life for a minute. I lived the adult life. I had my coffee every day, and I still have my decaf coffee every day. And that's my relationship with caffeine, guys. It's a beautiful curse. It's a beautiful addiction. And if you've got it, if you're still chasing the caffeine dragon, more power to you. Keep it up. Keep living that good life. Just know that there's some people out there who aren't as lucky as you, who don't get to drink your little caffeine thing every day and don't get to enjoy some of the other great caffeinated beverages in the world. And that brings us to Tim Keck's top 5 this week for Caffeine Week. This is Tim Keck's top 5 caffeines. Tim Keck's top 5 caffeines. Number 5, energy drinks. Who doesn't love an energy drink? I love a Monster. I love a Four Loko. I love hook 'em horns with that Red Bull. Red Bull, why do they have wings? Why isn't it horns? Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull makes you horny. That's a great. Red Bull gives you a horn. I don't know. Red Bull's a ride, man. Red Bull's a ride. When I was in college, it was like the renaissance of the Four Loko. Are you familiar with the Four Loko experience? Somebody came out with blackout in a can. It was a guaranteed great or horrible night, depending on how you look at it. It was an energy drink with alcohol in it, and a lot of alcohol. Maybe not a lot of alcohol, but like as much as something about mixing caffeine with alcohol just destroys you. Like I was talking about vodka lemonades earlier, something about like sweet and then alcohol is just a train wreck. And it's the same with caffeine and booze. Oh my God. Four Lokos. That was the thing. And now you can get a Four Loko and it's got way less alcohol in it than it used to. Cause it was like killing kids. I don't know if it was actually killing kids, but it was like kids were having like 2 Four Lokos and blacking out. It was crazy. It was a crazy thing. And they all taste bad. They all taste weird in like the same kind of way. All the energy drinks, they all taste like an energy. I don't even know how else to describe it. They taste like an energy drink. They're like it's like not Mountain Dew. It's like Mellow Yellow or something. You ever have Mellow Yellow? It's like Surge. You remember Surge? Oh man. Yeah. You were going to get diarrhea if you drank some Surge. The only thing surging after a surge was things out my butt. I don't want to talk about that. Energy drinks, obviously the best. Four Lokos, coveted. Four Lokos were a huge deal. There was also one year in college where the Monster truck, there was a truck with like giant horns on it, and it was like the Monster logo, and there were the Monster girls, and there were these girls who were dressed in like skimpy outfits, and they just were giving out Monster. And one time outside the dorm, they like parked, and we just filled backpacks up with cans of Monster energy drink, and then just like every party after that was just alcohol and Monster energy, and it was crazy. It was a wild ride, and I'll never forget you. Energy drinks. I also miss like the late drives. I used to get an energy drink every time I would drive home from like school to like visit my folks. It's like a 2.5 hour drive from Gainesville to Satellite Beach, Florida. And I got into the habit of like after school, I would leave late, like 6 o'clock or whatever. So I'm getting home at like 9, but I'm driving in the dark. And I used to love driving in the dark. And it'd be night and the roads were empty and I'd have the windows down. I'd just be listening to my music, having a good time. And I was like, oh man, what if I get a little sleepy? That's no problem. Monster energy drink, man. Maybe 2, because they're always like buy one, get one free. So I got 2 Monster energy drinks in the console. Tom Petty on the radio, windows down, wind in my hair, which was much longer at the time. And just a good old night drive. Just me in the road and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. What a dream. Energy drinks. Number 5. Number 4, Slurpee. Guys, Slurpees. Number 4. Should be number 1. I love the Slurpee, man. I love a Slurpee. I don't remember the last time I had a Slurpee. Oh, yeah, I do. 7-Eleven Day. Every year on 7-Eleven Day, the 7-Eleven company, conglomerate, institution gives away a free sample, a small-sized Slurpee. And it's delicious, and it's incredible, and I look forward to it every year. A little free Slurpee. They're great. I remember lifeguarding in high school. We all had big gulps and go to the 7-Eleven and just fill that thing up with Slurpee for like $1.50. It was the dream. Oh man. And Slurpees have like the craziest flavors. They had like they always had like pina colada or like a blue. They all had all these weird colors. They had like a flavor of Mountain Dew, LimeWire. It was like an orange Mountain Dew. And I've never seen it anywhere but in a Slurpee machine. And it was incredible. Oh my God, that was the dream. And you had to I did all of them. I was an all of them guy, even the sour one. Sometimes there's a sour Slurpee flavor. Oh man, but you just throw it in there. You layer them up. Because it would layer. First, if you're not using the big gulp, you get the cup, you put the lid on beforehand. I saw so many losers, dorks, ignoramuses filling up a cup and then throwing the lid on. Are you kidding me? Lid first. You got to fill up the lid. It's not a liquid. It's not going to like come out. It's icy. So you get more for if you fill it up with the lid. I'd fill it up over the lid. I just have it like flowing out the top because it's not water. It's not going to run everywhere. You just so you get to lick up the top, when you're done. It's great. Lid on. You fill that thing to the brim and you hit every one of those things. What they call it, suicide drink, where you just go down the line. You get a little bit of every single one. You get a Coke base, Coca-Cola base, because like that's a solid one. At the very least, you can fall back on Coca-Cola, no matter what the surprise is. Then you go a weird one, banana, whatever. You bring it home with the Mountain Dew. It's just a phenomenal thing. And there's lots of people who are like, oh yeah, but Tim, I love a Slurpee. I got one at this other gas station. It's like, whoa, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, my favorite part about going to Costco is getting a Slurpee when I'm done. And it's like, what do you talk? I see a polar bear on that cup. I see a red and blue cup with a polar bear on it. That is an icy, and you can send it straight to hell. An icy is not a Slurpee. There is nothing about Siri, shut up right now. I'm talking about Slurpees. Icies are not the same. A Freezy is not the same. Whatever. I don't even know what else they are. A Slurpee is specifically sold at a 7-Eleven. And a dream of mine, you know what? Maybe it still is. Growing up, I was like, you know what? One of these days I'm going to be so successful. I'm going to have a Slurpee machine in my house. Wow. Out by the pool, you're chilling, you're grilling, you're drinking some Slurpees. You've got the machine hooked up right there. You know how expensive a 7-Eleven Slurpee machine is? Thousands of dollars, $2,000, $3,000. And you're like, but Tim, but I got this margarita mixer. It's not the same. It's not the same. I got this icy machine, Tim, for $500. Well, then you were robbed because you bought a paperweight for $500. It's trash. Throw it out or leave it where you found it. I don't know. I don't care. It's not the same. It's not good enough. Slurpee machine. A Slurpee machine, a proper Slurpee machine, you can put real soda in and the whole thing rotates. The whole thing twists. So there's more of a motion and it's a finer thing. An icy machine, they just have that thing. They put like a little spoon thing in the middle and that twists like a blender. And that's not good enough. It's not good enough. You're not going to get a smoothie enough flavor. You're not going to get enough slurp. You got ice. It's icy. That's it. That's why Slurpee, you want a Slurpee. You want something where they're like, how is it? You're like, well, it's not solid. It's not liquid. It's Slurpee. You can slurp it. Well, what do you think about this? It's like, oh, here's a drink and it's icy. I don't want an icy beverage. It's gross. I don't know. Am I making any sense? Slurpees rule. Icy's drool. Get it or get out. Number 3 on Tim Keck's top 5 caffeines. Soda. You got to say soda. You know, I've just been ranting about Slurpees. Oh my God, Siri, shut up. I got to figure that out another time. I'll figure out how to get Siri to stop interrupting me. Soda, man. Soda's delicious. I miss soda, especially with pizza. Something about pizza. If I have a pizza, I'm having a soda. And that's the way of the world. I miss a Coke. I miss a Pepsi because Sprite, it's like, Sprite's caffeine free, whatever. Sprite's basically ginger ale anyway. Sprite is sick drink. And Pepsi or Coke, it's like, man, I don't even remember either one. Growing up, I was at a Diet Coke household, which somehow Diet Coke is like way worse for you than any other than just Coca-Cola. Diet Coke somehow has all the terrible thing. They're like, okay, cool. This one has less sugar, but Diet Coke then somehow has this like super sugar. It's like somehow 0 calories. It's like, how does something taste that sweet with 0 calories? It is an impossible lie. Do not believe this. Nothing good has 0 calories. Water's all you can have for 0 calories. Seltzer. See, seltzer's mediocre at best. If something tastes better than a seltzer, yeah, think about that. If you get a seltzer, a mango seltzer, it's 0 calories. And somehow a Diet Coke tastes 1,000,000 times better than a mango seltzer. How is this possible? It's magic. It's magic. And I love magic. We're going to talk about magic next week. That's our topic for next week. Next week's topic is magic. You can't. 0 calories is a lie. Diet is a scam. Grow up. Coke, Pepsi. It's a debate. Coke. It's for adults. Coke is for adults. Grown-ups drink Coca-Cola. Pepsi, fun. Pepsi's sweet. Pepsi's just a sweet, fun time. If you want a sugary little kickback, you enjoy a Pepsi. Or you can be a grown-up, you can have an adult, have your 5th one of the day, and it's Coca-Cola. That's it. Coke has, I don't know what you guys familiar with Mexican Coke? The Coca-Cola made in Mexico, which for some reason everyone's cool just calling it Mexican Coke. I don't know. It sounds weird to me to be just calling something. Hey, Tim, can you grab me that soda? Sure. Do you want the Mexican one? I don't think that's really what we should be saying, but everyone calls it Mexican Coke, and it's the Coca-Cola. It's made in a factory in Mexico. I thought it was an exclusive thing. I thought you could only find it in New York. So I mailed a bunch home to my sister one year for Christmas. And then we went to the grocery store, Publix, back home, and they're there. They're on the shelves. You can just get them. And they're 1,000,000 times better than Coca-Cola. It's so much better. It's like sugar cane. It's like real sugar and not the like processed Coca-Cola bullshit. I don't know. I didn't realize it's such strong. I do know. I have strong feelings about sodas. If somebody doesn't drink them anymore, I miss them and I think about them all the time. It's like, and you remember Revenge of the Nerds? You ever see that movie where there's the one scene, the scene that wouldn't be made today because it's kind of creepy AF, where that dude has sex with that girl that he's been pining after the whole movie, but she thinks he is her boyfriend. Am I spoiling Revenge of the Nerds for you guys? It's creepy. It's a creepy scene, and he's apparently great at sex. And she's like, whoa, how are you so good? You're a nerd. And he's like, jocks spend all their time having sex. Nerds spend all their time thinking about sex. I think that's what he said. It was something like, I'm thinking about it. And that's how I feel about caffeine. I'm not doing it myself, but I spend a lot of time thinking about it and living vicariously through you. Number 2. Okay, you know what? These are in the wrong order for sure, because number 2, you know what? I'm switching them now. Number 2, espresso. Number 2 is espresso. I love an espresso. Oh my God, who doesn't love an espresso? A little sugar in there. Oh, just a sweet, tasty treat. It's like coffee, but stronger. It's more concentrated, and you only have a little sip. That's the problem with espresso. The only problem with espresso is that you can only have a little. You only want a little bit because it's so strong. But I feel like I could drink a cup of espresso any day. Just drink a whole cup of espresso, and then you're wired, man. You're wired. There was a period where I was drinking multiple cups of espresso a day, and it's like, okay, my hands are shaking, my whole body is vibrating. I could just move through a wall like the Flash, just like vibrating particles in my body and just like slide through another solid object. It's crazy. Espresso, man. Something about an espresso after dinner is incredible. You get a little dessert. You get like a little ice cream, a little gelato. And then like, you want any coffee? It's like, yeah, man, I'll take a little espresso. And then you just have a little sip of an espresso with your gelato, man. That was good. Had a good lunch with the boys one time. A couple buddies of mine went to this like Greek place that afterwards had gelato and espressos in the middle of the day. And it was like, this is life. This is how the Europeans are all the time. I don't know if that's true, but that's how I picture Europe is just a lot of just espresso and a dessert and just sitting outside and you're just swirling a spoon in a caffeinated drink. Number 1. Tim Keck's favorite caffeines, coffee. We've been talking about it the whole time. It's got to be number 1. It's got to be number 1. I don't know why I put espresso ahead of it initially. It's not. That's a lie. Coffee, number 1. It's so good. It's the staple. It's the one we all strive for. It's what we all want to be. I am personally in the cold brew camp. I know it's controversial. It's controversial. Everyone loves a hot cup of coffee. Not me. I run hot. I don't need any more heat. What I need is a little cool beverage. I like a cold beverage. I don't like a hot beverage. I don't want a hot beverage. I grew up in Florida. We're not drinking hot things. No one has a hot tea. You have an iced tea. You have a sweet tea. No one comes in for a green tea in the middle of the summer in Florida, you know? So I moved up here and it's like, oh, it's so cold outside. Time for a hot beverage. And even then I'm like, ugh, now I'm warm but I'm already inside. I'm in my apartment. I'm in the warm place. It's one thing if you have a hot drink and you're in a cold area, then I get it. You get to hold your cup. You get to hold your cup and the smoke gets to come around and you get to like put your hands on it and like hold it up to your face. And you're like, oh, this is like, oh, like the cup's the only thing keeping you warm. Like that's a fun experience, but cold brew is incredible. Some places you go, you're like, you get an iced coffee. I always ask if it's cold brew, not an iced coffee. Iced coffee is just a hot coffee that they poured. And then they made a hot coffee and then they poured it over some ice and they send it to you. Now the ice melted. It's watery. It's kind of gross. It's not good. Cold brew is steeped for at least 12 hours in the grounds. It's made naturally. It's sweet. Hot coffee, quick, aggressive, in and out. This is hot water pouring through these grains. We're not going to spend a lot of time with you coffee grounds. We're just dipping in and dipping out with some of that sweet coffee caffeine flavor. We're coming through. Hot coffee is just passing through, man. We're like on a roll. Cold brew is like, let's sit, let's chat, let's enjoy it, let's soak it up. Imbued me with your strength, with your essence, coffee grounds, so I can pass this on to the drinker. Cold brew coffee, incredible. My favorite. You know what? Hot coffee, get out of here. Cold brew, number 1 on Tim Keck's top 5 caffeines. Number 5, energy drinks. Number 4, Slurpee. Number 3, soda. Number 2, espresso. And number 1, cold brew coffee. Guys, that is our show for today. Next week's topic is magic. It's magic. Do you believe in magic? Email the show. Call the show. Let me know. And the king stays king. Bye.